Thank y'all for being here today. Today, we're going to talk about where I think the best place to play in is, and that is in the gray. Now, this concept I discovered of playing in the gray has opened up my world because instead of thinking that there are only two ways to do things, basically right or wrong, I now see that there are so many other possibilities. So let's go. There is a thought pattern that you may have noticed in yourself or maybe in others. It's referred to as black and white thinking. Basically, black and white thinking is defined as thoughts that make people think in absolutes. These thoughts swing from one extreme to the other, believing something is all good or all bad. Now, at the bottom of your Zoom, you have a little chat box. Go ahead and put in there some words that come to mind for you when you're observing black and white thinking. For example, good or bad. Let's see what y'all come up with. What else is there? Yes, always and never. Right and wrong. Hard and soft. All in and all out. On and off. Perfect or failure. Nice and mean. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Thank you for sharing those. So I want to show you this. On this board, we have our black and white, one on one side and one on the other. And there's this whole spectrum in the middle of the gray. The space in the middle is the gray. And this is such a fun place to play. Gray thinking is the in between the spectrum of black and white. It's lacking clearly defined characteristics. It's ambiguous. It's uncertain. It's a mindset that's open to new ideas. So when we're playing in the gray, what are some words that come up for you? Go ahead and put those in the chat if you can think of any of those. For example, always or never becomes sometimes. Any others you can think of? Or becomes and. All or nothing becomes some. Yes, we have perhaps. Perfect or imperfect becomes good at some things and bad at others. Or yet. Excellent. All right, so when we incorporate gray thinking, it teaches you to use this whole spectrum in the middle. And here are a few ways that we can play in the gray. So the first one is or. Instead of or, we move it to and. And I have been practicing this in my life this year. I used to think that I had to be eating all of the sugar or none of the sugar. There was nothing in between. I was either on track or off track. Now I play in the gray, where I have some sugar and sometimes more than I need, but I'm learning to not make it a problem. As I love myself and love different aspects of me and my body, eating some sugar is something I'm getting better at. So instead of all or nothing, it becomes some of this and some of that. Another thing I've been practicing is B minus work. I used to think everything had to be perfect. I'd even follow my boys around the house when they were little, and I'd pick up things behind them that they dropped. It was a little bit crazy. And I thought my house needed to be perfectly clean. But I discovered that there were things I wouldn't even attempt to do because I didn't think I'd be good enough at it. So a couple of years ago, I decided that I wanted to learn how to do Instagram videos. And I knew if I waited for A+ work, there wasn't going to be many videos. So I just started randomly. I'd hold my phone out there and I'd just start talking. And at first, I'd record them over and over and be like, okay, which one should I send? And then I just figured out, you know what? It's never going to be perfect. So even though my words were messed up, or sometimes something was out of place, or I wasn't all dolled up, it was okay. By consistently doing the videos and putting them out there anyway, I got better at them. They're still not a work, but that's okay, because who wants to watch a perfect video anyway? I decided that B- work is like playing in the gray. And you know what? It's sharing valuable information. It's helping me learn instead of me not even trying something because it's not perfect. All right, so then we have equal airtime. Often we focus on all the negatives. Have you noticed yourself or others doing this? I think this is kind of fun to make into a game. If I hear one of my kids telling me all the negatives about something, I ask them, hey, tell me some positive stuff too. Sometimes we don't think that there are many positives, but when we start looking for them, we find them. So the next time that you notice your brain going to everything wrong, challenge yourself or your loved ones to spend the same amount of time focusing on things that are going well. Equal airtime. So instead of only the black or the white, what are all the other possibilities in the gray? Okay, and lastly, we have specific negative and specific positive. So basically what this looks like is when we're talking about black and white thinking, we may say, I'm not fit for college. But if we had a specific negative and a specific positive, we would say, I struggle with math and I'm getting an A on my English in my English class. Or you may be thinking, I don't like my job. So if we're moving to specific negative and positive, that would sound like, I have difficulty working with Karen and I love the work that I do. All right, so there is a quote by Brene Brown that I love. Let me stick it right there. She says, the middle is messy, but it's also where the magic happens. I love that quote. This is where the magic happens. So what magic are you going to create when you're playing in the messy middle? Well, you'll probably feel less pressure. Your expectations for others and yourself will probably lighten up a bit. You won't beat yourself up when you're not doing things perfectly. You'll stop fighting against reality. You won't try to change what you can't control. There are so many magical things that happen when we play in the gray. So I want to leave you with a brain hack that I created. So when I notice my brain going to black and white thinking, I simply remind myself, Leanne, you are already an expert at all or nothing. You've already mastered being really good at something or not. You're already great at all in or all out. So now, right now, you're becoming an expert at moderation. You're mastering the middle. You're getting really good at playing in the gray. So try that brain hack the next time you notice your mind going to black and white thinking. Thanks so much for joining me today for our first tidbit of love. Have a good one, y'all. And here's to playing in the gray on a summer day.